Very excited right now to be joined by the 12th overall selection of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1997. He was a five-time 1,000-yard rusher, three-time Pro Bowler, a standout at Florida State, and anybody who was playing fantasy football in the 1990s knew that you had to have this man right here, Warwick Don. Warwick, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I hope my '90s record in fantasy was pretty good. So I hope people did draft me and utilize me.
Oh, I'm an old school guy, so I remember. Like it's like I remember going to Blink 182 shows and like all this stuff, old school kind of guy. Warwick Dunn, listen, you were one of the first guys. I remember, all the all-stars like you and then MJD. It was must-have players, absolutely.
Well, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I feel good now.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on. And since you are, a former running back, it only makes sense for us to talk about the running back position. So we went to Twitter and we asked people if you had the first overall selection in drafts this year, who is the running back
Mhm.
that you're going to take? And we gave them four options: Dalvin Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. You can see right here, Christian McCaffrey, the overwhelming choice. More than 66% of those polled chose Christian McCaffrey. Let me ask you, did they make the right decision?
Well, I don't disagree. I mean, McCaffrey is talented. He can do it all. I mean, that's what you want, a guy who's very versatile. I just worry and then wonder how is he going to respond from the injuries. I mean, he was up and down last year and still productive, but it's scary of how talented he is. He's a guy that can take the pounding. He can get inside and outside. I like his game, but when you're looking at a Dalvin Cook, he's someone that I think can be consistent because he has pretty much the same players around him. They know what they're going to do offensively, and they're going to rely on him. So he's going to be a pounder. And Alvin Kamara is another one I think people need to really take a look at. They're scared about the Drew Brees thing, but I just
Mhm.
feel like once they get into a rhythm, then he's going to really get into his stride and being involved in a run pass game. So I mean, McCaffrey right now is the man, and Twitter, shows that. But I would look at a Dalvin Cook as well as Alvin Kamara.
So are you telling me, and I know you play fantasy football with the NFL legends, if you're sitting there at 1.01 and they come to you and they say you have the first pick, who are you taking?
Oh man, I may have to flip a coin. I may have to flip a coin. Um, you know, I think I may go with Cook just because, he's consistent week in and week out. And I love his style. Downhill runner, he's going to, make it happen. Again, this this offense, they play together. So they really understand his run and what he expects out of them week in and week out. And he's not really you know, battling injuries, right? Coming back, having to
Yeah.
prove that he's healthy. That's the difference between him and McCaffrey. McCaffrey has to prove to individuals that he can still go out and be consistent and pound, pound, pound. Cook, I think, still, opportunity for him to continue to grow and become a better runner.
Yeah, it's amazing to me too, because I know that part of the rap on Dalvin Cook coming into the league was his injury concerns, but he's played well over 2 years. Christian McCaffrey played just 3 games last year, and everybody just seems to forget that. So I agree with you. I think Dalvin Cook should absolutely be considered the first overall selection. So we got those two settled down. You talked a little bit about Alvin Kamara. What about Derrick Henry, though? Is there any concern? Because he had a lot of carries last year. Is there any concern
Mhm.
that he's going to have a little wear and tear this season?
Well, I would be concerned if you really look at the history of the 2,000-yard rusher. I mean, the year afterwards, they're not going to rush for 2,000 yards. I mean, he may get 1,200, and I just think now because they don't have the same offensive coordinator. He's the head coach now in Atlanta. You know, I just think the offense is going to, you know, just take some time to get adjusted. And plus, defenses are preparing for Derrick Henry. What are they going to do? They're going to stack the line and really force the quarterback to beat them. And I think years past, you've seen Henry really build up to become that consistent runner, and it's taken a few years to really, or a few games, I would say, to really get going and get into his stride. I mean, I like his running style. He's downhill. He's a big guy, shows some speed and some quickness, but at the same time, you're talking about a guy who rushed for 2,000 yards, and you want him to come back and do that again? Just don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be more around 1,200, 1,300 yards.
Somebody who was always at the top of the draft was Ezekiel Elliott, and now he just seems to keep tumbling down the draft board. Do you think that Ezekiel Elliott can bounce back this season with a healthy Dak Prescott?
Well, I think having Dak Prescott is key for Ezekiel. I just think once Dak is back to normal and really putting the offense on his shoulders, now what you do is you really rely on the run game. Let them control the line of scrimmage, and the Cowboys are known for that. They want to control the line of scrimmage and put the ball in the running back's hand. Let them take over, but you do need a quarterback who can help get the guys off the line of scrimmage, and he needs to get confident himself, Dak Prescott, so that now what he does is he's taking the pressure off everyone else and really putting the pressure on themselves to be the best quarterback that he can be for this offense. And I just think if he does that, Ezekiel is going to have some big games. Is he going to be the Ezekiel years ago? That's hard to say. You have to be, a guy continue to be hungry and consistent and so forth. But I just think, Dallas has had his ups and downs when it comes to running the football. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I like the fact that he has Dak, but we just never know how he responds and how the offense responds too.
Last season, there were two running backs that everybody seemed to be really excited about: Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Results were a little bit mixed. Do you see, if you had to choose between one of these two players, who do you think could have the biggest impact this season?
Well, I'll probably go with Clyde Edwards, because the talent around him in Kansas City, I mean, the pressure's not on him to make plays. All he has to do is just play his part. They're talented. They're creative on offense. They spread the ball around. So it's not predictable that he's going to get the ball consistently. But when you think about Miles Sanders, you think about someone who's has the ability to really impact the Eagles in such a way that, if they can give him touches, if they can create seams for him, he's a dynamic runner. But at the same time, now what you're doing is you're bringing in a running quarterback. So that's going to be an adjustment for him to really get into his groove and understand where he's at and his position, in the run game. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on him to make plays, but I love his versatility. I like the fact that he can do it all. I think that gives him an edge over Clyde Edwards, but at the same time, I just like the overall, it's no pressure for Clyde to go out and play because of the talent around him in Kansas City.
Yeah, and an interesting note, too, that I found out this offseason, through the past two seasons, Travis Kelce has seen 27 red zone looks in 19 games. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 28 red zone looks in his rookie season alone. So that's something to consider, too. So I kind of agree with you. I love both those running backs, but I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, let's take a look. We have a fan who asked a question, if we can bring that up right now. And this is I love this question, and I'm really interested to get your take on this. Naji Harris or Antonio Gibson? Which way are you leaning?
That's I don't know. I do. Antonio has played, right? You really know what he can do. I mean, he's a creative running back. He's a guy who could do a little bit of everything, right? I like that. Najee is a rookie. He's coming in. And when you really look at the running backs that have come out of Alabama over the last few years, they didn't come off, their first year just blazing out of the gates. It's taken them a little bit to really, get going and understand. And just like Henry came out, he didn't really produce it was the type of runner he is today. So I think a little bit of Naji is going to really have to, you know, get that consistency going, understanding the plays, blocking, trusting his line and those things. So I would probably go with Gibson early on because he's already been there, he's done it, and they know how to utilize him. He, like I said, he can do it also. He's versatile. He can do it inside, outside. He can catch the football. I think he's faster than Harris as well, so his quickness is there. So I would definitely go with Gibson today over Harris.
Okay, well, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to take Gibson, and if it doesn't work out well, then I can just blame you. No, it's perfect. I want to absolve myself of all self-loathing if he doesn't come through. Let's talk about a couple of your former teams. Mike Davis is the new running back in Atlanta, and it's kind of
Mhm.
surprising to me that we're not seeing a little bit more buzz for him. It doesn't feel like he's going to have much of a competition for targets or touches or anything like that. Do you feel that people are sleeping on Mike Davis?
Well, I think early on they are sleeping on him because you don't know what the offense or what they're going to produce up front for him. So he really needs his line to come together. And I think this year you'll see the offense change where they're going to try to run the football much more consistently and effective. In years past, for him to get going, he had to get all of the touches, but he also had a good line that was used to run blocking. You have to, give your guys opportunities. So I think this year, as the Falcons, we're going to really try to run the football often, early, and get him going. And if he could, you know, bust one or two here and there, some tough runs and 6 or 7 yards, guys get confident. I think that would open it up for him. So it, people this or that, he's not getting a lot of buzz, but I just think over the course of the year, you're going to see a change, a shift that if they can run the football much more consistently, he's going to be making plays.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to regret not drafting Mike Davis. Let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Which one of these running backs do I want? Do I want Leonard Fournette or do I want Ronald Jones?
Well, I would go with Jones. I like Jones. I think he's much more versatile when you Fournette. I mean, he had a great playoff, great Super Bowl. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's hard to argue. But Jones has been much more consistent, and you want someone who's consistent, who can pretty much do it all. Man, like I said, he's versatile as well. So this year's so many versatile guys who can catch the football. I think that's what teams want out of the backfield and run the football. And Jones is doing it. He's a hard-nosed runner. He can make plays when nothing's there. And it's just a little bit different from Fournette because, you know, Fournette came along during the run and they were just rolling. So, but I'll take my chances with Jones um, to really make it happen.
Again, I'm going to put that one on you. I'm going to take Ronald Jones, and if it doesn't work out, I'm going to come back and be like, Warwick set me up, but that's okay.
Well,
And by the way,
well, no, I was gonna say,
I'll
let me
give
just
you
tell you,
credit.
well, I won my fantasy league. The first year I played, I won it. The last couple of years, I hadn't fared too well. So I don't know if you want to listen to me.
No, I definitely want to listen to you, and I do want to say too, I've obviously admired you as an NFL player, but what I really admired about you even more is a lot of the work that you've done off the field. So if you can take a moment right now and talk
Right.
about your role with the NFL Legends community, and of course about your charity, Homes for the Holidays, can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Well, I'll start off with the charities, work done charities in our program, Homes for the Holidays, where we assist single parent families who are becoming first time homeowners. That's giving them $5,000 down payment and fully furnishing their homes with furniture, food, linens, garden tools, TVs, all the way down to the toothbrush. And to date, we've up to 193 single parent families that we've helped in 24 markets or 25 markets. And so we've been able to really push this program, and I'm thankful for all the support that I've gotten. And I am a part of the Legends program as well. I'm a Southeast Regional Coordinator. And really, what we're here to do is really assist, you know, uh, retired players. We call them legends of the game, really to assist them and make sure they have access to all of their benefits. They know all of the information that is there for them. They played hard. You should reward them. But at the same time, we want guys to stay connected to the game, be engaged, be involved with the local team. But we want to make sure they have access to all the things they've worked hard for. So we love building relationships and really getting that time together to fellowship, come together and be thankful for each other. So team, we're all about team and sacrifice for each other.
Well, Warwick, I want to thank you, first of all, for coming on the show today and all the work that you've been doing on and off the field over the last decades. So we really appreciate you. And thank you so much for being here
Yeah,
today.
no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Warwick Dunn, ladies and gentlemen.